And in fact, at that point, there is a shovel in the Dungeon World Jeep. Do you take the time to bury Miss Frizzle?
I want to look at the spear.
Oh, yeah, great point. All right.
We'll look at the loot, but then, yeah, I'll do that.
All right. You go over. The spear is absolutely of celestial design, okay? It is clearly divine made, perfect, obviously not crafted by human hands. There are fine runes on it, and when you look at it, like you look at the device, and it is humming with energy, and there is absolute, like, these small, super fine, scrawlings on it, and you could just, and even as you get close, you can feel the power just radiating off of it, and you also get the sense that the grass that it lays on, right, has grown up a little bit taller around it, right, and seems to be more hardy than the other grass around it. Do you reach down and take Freya's spear, which Miss Frizzle had dropped?
Yes.
All right. So at that point, you grasp Freya's spear, right? And at this point, you hear like a huge song of angels around you, right? And you can no longer see what is around you, and there's just a blinding light, right? And you hear this incredible, like, hail of voices around your head, and there's like a huge choir, okay? And you hold, and you actually come back. You're holding it. All of your attributes are now at a +2, and you have +20 HP while the spear is with you, and you can put it onto as you hold it.
So you said all of my attributes?
All of your attributes are +2.
I want that.
Yeah, and you don't even know what it does when you strike someone.
Might trade you.
I don't want to get rid of it.
All right. So at that point,
I would like a +2 to all my stats. That they could speak as well as you.
You got a luck blade.
I know.
So at that point, Emily is like, "Oh," like she's really in pain because her cat really tore her up.
You should just
and she actually immediately she goes down. She's literally bleeding on her dress, right? And she says, "Oh, cat, are you okay?" She strokes her cat, right? So at that point, you guys are like, "Oh, by the way, last question: do you guys take the time to bury Miss Frizzle?"
I do.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Wow.
This is what we do.
Good.
I will scoop her up and I will I will sink into the earth with her.
Wow.
And then I will let her go. And then I will let her go and keep going. So it's I will just inter her in the earth.
All right.
Leaving everything
100 points for saying you would do it. 100 points for an awesome narration. Fantastic. And 50 points for you guys because you were totally down for burying her as well. And for your encounter with Miss Frizzle.
When do we gain a level?
Points across.
Or what's the next level?
Yeah, you'll have to. He's got it.
Right.
Okay, so at that point, you guys continue forward. Okay, and
Level
actually,
8 or not?
so I have a question for you.
6,500.
So
to 9.
No. You said you were going up to 8.
No, then
Up to 9 to 8,500.
1,500 more. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're absolutely good. So at this point, you guys are... So one, are you going to continue in the same direction you were going? Oh, and here's the other question. Are you going to... And the way you are going is the way Frizzle came at you from. Do you divert your direction? Do you go exactly in the opposite direction?
Guys, whatever you do, don't say gears around these people. They get really, really punchy.
So you're going to continue in your current direction. Is that correct? Or are you going to backtrack because of this terrible occurrence that has happened?
How was it terrible?
Well,
He's like, I got an awesome spear.
we should have started doing this more often.
Yeah,
I was the only one to take any damage, and I'm fine
I'll
now.
tell you right
And
now,
Emily.
I am traumatized by Miss Frizzle's death. If you're not, Ted.
I never really cared for that show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It had a good theme song, but I mean,
It was better than
You
Caillou.
never played any
It
of the
was-
But yeah, why couldn't you
games?
put Caillou in for us to kill? I hated that little kid.
All right,
Dude,
so at this point,
Caillou and Dora team up. Totally.
I like
all
Dora.
right,
Sorry.
so no one has chosen.
what's wrong with
All
you?
right, so
Dora
you guys
was awesome.
continue forward. All right,
Magic
at
backpack.
about you guys travel for about another mile in the same direction, and you see a camp. Okay, up on a small hill, you see a camp where there are some humans. Okay, and on that small hill, there is a gathering of people, and they're sitting on these stumps. Okay, and it appears to be a few women. All right. Now, at this point, they are these groves. You could hide behind some of these groves and observe them for a while, or you can simply go up to them. It does not appear that they have seen you. What do you guys do?
So there's women sitting on stumps.
Exactly. And by the way, it is a beautiful, it's like 75 degrees out. There's a slight breeze. It's blue sky. It is.
Are they wearing those crazy dresses?
They are not.
What do they look like?
You'd have to get all, at this point, you just know they're female, and you really don't have any other details. But if you go forward at this point, you will announce your presence. Do you do that?
Well, yeah.
Can I use my flowing form for stealthy purposes? Because
And try to sneak up to him?
Yeah.
And see?
Not necessarily sneak up, but just kind of like be a puddle and then just kind of ooze my way there.
Yeah. And then, so absolutely. So you can allow them to engage these guys, remain secret until you wish to expose yourself. Do you want to do that?
I
Reveal yourself. That's a better way of putting it. Right. Yes?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
as long as my armor's in the back.
Yeah, that's fine. It can be right in a
pop that
Jeep.
back on.
Yeah, no worries at all. All right, so at this point, you take your gelatinous form, and you can just ooze right through the grass. Nobody can see you, right? And you can reveal yourself whenever you wish. The rest of you continue forward, okay? And at that point, one of the women stands up, and then she comes down. The rest of the women all stand up from their stumps, and only one woman comes down, okay? And the woman, the woman comes down, and she says, now, this woman has, she has freckles. She's a Caucasian female. She's about 20 years old, right? She is also, now, she's wearing like a skirt that comes up to about 2 inches above her knee. She's wearing a sweater and a white shirt, right? And a watch, right? Which, and that's it, right? And she comes up, appears to be completely human, right? And she comes forward and she goes, I am Nancy. She says, who are you?
Rod. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, Rod.
Aaron, Fallon.
All right.
I'm in the ground.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
I am Gary.
He says, excellent. It's excellent to meet you. Please, come this way. I shall introduce you to the rest, right? So she comes forward, and she says, this is my friend, Rochelle. Rochelle looks exactly like, she has all the same aspects as Nancy, except she is an African American. And her hair is somewhat blonde and has curls in it, okay? It's obviously stylized, right? It's been styled, right? And then she says, this is Sarah Bailey. She introduces another young female, right? Same aspects, Caucasian, long brown hair.
Do we see only women in this settlement?
Ding, 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 ding. 200 points. There are no men here. That is exactly right.
Did I mention I've got an 18 charisma?
I didn't realize that, but I don't want to be sexist.
All right, and then last she says, and this is Bonnie. Now Bonnie, she has a kind of she's same thing, human female, about 20, maybe high as 22, and she also has freckles, but she has a lighter skin. She's about 5'4", and she has a more angular face. Okay?
Am I getting like the Stepford Wives kind of vibe here, or what?
Very similar, absolutely. So you guys have met Sarah Bailey, Bonnie, Rochelle, and Nancy. Okay, and they say, so you are clearly new to the realm, correct?
Yes. We came through some portal in a storm.
Well, we shall tell you. She says, we shall let you know now. You have a choice. You must. She says, one, the area you are right now is the 50 miles square, which is ruled by Queen Daphne. She says, you are fortunate to be here. Now, she says, we have more than enough space for you. You are welcome to stay for a while.
Do they seem to recognize the spear at all?
Oh, thank you very much. So you have the spear on your back, right? And so they say, I really appreciate that.
No
All
problem.
right, so yes, says, and then wait, so then what? And then wait. Bonnie goes, wait. That's Miss Frizzle's spear. What are you doing with that?
What's a Miss Frizzle?
Oh, she says, well, Miss Frizzle, she is a good friend of ours. She says also a honored servant of Queen Daphne. Why do you have her spear?
How do you know that this is her spear?
And then
I'm creeping back to my armor very stealthily.
Yes. She says, well, she says, that's Freya's spear. It has runes upon it. You just don't find those lying around, sir.
Yeah, I would say it's very distinct.
And actually, at that point, Bonnie starts to come forward, right? And immediately, Rochelle puts her hand on Bonnie's shoulder because Bonnie was like walking forward, and she says, Bonnie, I know that this good sir has. I'm sure he found it. Did you find that spear somewhere?
Are you lawful good?
We don't have alignments.
Oh, wait, does Gary lawful good?
That's great. Yeah.
Does Gary view himself as
I don't
lawful
believe
good?
he would view himself as lawful good.
It's interesting.
It doesn't matter what character I play. I always.
I mean, I did
so,
persuade the chick to kind of give herself in for the greater good.
And at that
No,
point,
you didn't. We had to bind her and drag her there.
Well, all right, I attempted to.
your hesitation has been interrupted in the world. And suddenly there's a cry, a baby's cry. And at that point, Nancy immediately runs around and she picks up from this pure white bassinet that was near them, this baby, and picks it up and brings it over. And she just starts, bouncing this baby. And the baby has bright blonde hair, okay? And she brings the baby back over and then, takes place right next to you. And Bonnie at this point is like really like she's starting to like get. And Rochelle's waiting.
I'm visibly distracted by this. While we did encounter the one hoop baby earlier.
This is a human baby,
right? This isn't something that
Oh, it's
Mike
very
humans are used to. We
Yeah,
normally kind of grow. We eat more plant.
Yeah.
So I'm distracted by the conversation by the child.
Oh, and so you're gonna look at the child.
Boy, you're missing an opportunity here to talk about their sprout.
So at that point, Nancy sees you look at the child and she goes, "Oh," and she says, "How rude of me." She said, "I introduced everybody but Elizabeth." And then as soon as she says that, right, Sarah looks at her and she goes, I'm sorry. Let me introduce Velma, right?" And she comes forward and she says, "Would you like to hold her?"
Daphne, Velma.
Oh my god.
Seriously, it's a Scooby Doo game almost.
I am not aware of what protocol is with children in our
And power armor.
Well, exactly. That's a great point.
In where I'm from, my people, we literally grow from the ground.
Oh, yes, you do have a very unusual look to you. Well, there are some there are not anyone exactly like you here, but we have seen some unusual people upon this realm. Yes.
Let me guess. The ruler of the gears is Fred.
200 points. Well done. All right. I'm gonna bring him up. Hold on. Okay.
I would totally rather ally with Scooby and Shaggy if they were Fred.
Indeed. Queen Daphne and King Fred. Well done. Well done. I give you your XP, right? Yeah. Extremely well done.
I mean, if you want to give me more, I'd gladly take it, but
All right. So at that point, so she says, "Oh, well, I don't want to upset you." She says, we're very blessed to have this child. And as you can see, she's a happy baby, right? And she does seem completely healthy, completely happy. And she says, and at that point, they say, well, at that point, Bonnie says, will you be staying in the 50-mile area ruled by Queen Daphne, or will you be venturing beyond? Because once you venture beyond, you will not be able to re-enter.
We are actually trying to...
Where are we? What is this realm?
Oh, certainly. I can explain where you are. It says, we have lived here for about 5 years now. She says, we serve Queen Daphne, and the realm you are in, she says, is called Shagveldu. And she says, and it is pretty much a paradise. There is plenty of food here. As you can see, the weather is always nice.
It's the opposite land, do-land.
So she says...
Bunch of do-landers over there.
But the only thing is, did you come through a rift sweep?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I do give you my condolences. I understand that this is It is usually quite shocking for people. When we came through a rift sweep quite a while ago, Sarah, Bonnie, Rochelle, and Nancy, all of us came through a separate rift sweep from Daphne, Queen Daphne. Of course, when we met Queen Daphne, we pledged our allegiance right away, which I highly suggest that each one of you do.
How come I don't see any men around here? I'm a little nervous.
And at that point, that's what she says. Bonnie says, we did offer you that you would be able to stay. Now, if you would like, you may pledge your allegiance to Queen Daphne. I shall knight you. She says, myself. But, since you have breached the subject, if you wish to see men upon this world, we shall escort you outside of Queen Daphne's realm. Is that what you wish now?
So
Wait a minute. How does this world maintain itself if the men and the women are separated, like at its high school dance?
And Rochelle says, are all people from your world so gauche? We have met you here and offered you hospitality, and you bring up subjects of such pure crassness?
Crash?
Crass.
I think it's more so curiosity.
I think I remember Gary telling me a story about a femininity or girdle, a femininity masculinity one time. And I'm a little concerned here that there are no men.
All right, this is a 39 persuasion.
Okay.
I am very sorry for any crassness. Worlds sometimes communicate in very different ways. I try to give a nice disarming smile. We come from a very harsh world where speaking slowly through intentions and wishes, there just isn't time. There are many who do not see many winters. So if you don't mind my asking, my good friend Rod here, went about it in a very hasty manner. So would being knighted under Queen Daphne's court, would that give us a gender more in line with yourselves? So at that point, Bonnie comes forward. She says, "You are aware of the craft." In the land I come from, I was considered a high priest.
She says, "That's excellent. All of us are Wiccans." She says, "And we are very familiar with the craft. No, being knighted under Queen Daphne would not change your gender in any way. Truly, you are from a very unusual world. We had to give up cell phones when we came here. Seems like you might have to give up even more than that, right?"
What, pray tell, is a cell phone?
She says, pish posh, nothing I miss that much now that I serve Queen Daphne, of course. Right? And so she says, now, since we have, she looks over to you, and Bonnie says, since we have gone into crass talk, let us dally no more. Each of you, says, can pledge your allegiance to the Rose and Queen Daphne immediately. Or, she says, Bonnie, wait, did I say Bonnie was speaking? Yeah. So we'll say Nancy was speaking. Or Bonnie will immediately take you beyond the border of Queen Daphne's realm, where you will remain for all of your days. Make your choice. Oh, and at this point, he's just like kind of opening out with the baby. It's really weird.
It is hard to pledge faith or allegiance to one if you do not know their causes. What is Daphne's reign and rule in service to?
Absolutely, I shall tell you. So, within the realm of Queen Daphne, this is what we have. And at that point, one, your persuasion has been completely successful, right? And at that point, she then takes you on a tour. They walk down the hill and they say, these groves, these provide all of the fruit that we need. And she said, and then at that point, she says, all right, hold on. Thank you.
So far, this seemed very adventurous.
Yeah, and she says, that over there, right? At this point, there's this creature that comes out from one of the groves, It's about 2 feet high. It's fat, right? And it has these black hooves, but the rest of it is blue. And it's very furry. And it has 4 ears. And the 4 ears kind of flop when it kind of gangles about, right? And she says,
Weird,
that
right?
is... She says, that is a...
Scrappy Doo.
No. That is a carbal. She says, she says, within... Queen Daphne does not eat meat, but Bonnie does. Bonnie looks over, she's like really pissed that you guys are here, right? And she said, and by the way, you're just secretly following. They have no idea you're there. She says, but even the meat is provided for us. Essentially, this is a paradise, right? She says, now... That over there, and she points up in the sky, there's a white bird with red fringes on its wing. That's a felst, another form of meat. This world has no dangers, except 2. She says, there are narns. Narns are predatory reptiles that roam these lands. We have learned to deal with them. And so we wish for you to understand what you are getting into. You will be here for some time. Because there are narns, and because there are people beyond... the 50 miles that is owned by Queen Daphne, we have all pledged ourselves to the god Freya. And whenever there are
Narns is in the Scandinavian dragons?
No, they are not. So you ask them to clarify, they say, no, a Narn creature, it is about 8 feet long. It has sharp razor-like claws, and it has 3 rows of teeth. And it also has, and at that point Bonnie's like, right, it's a predator. You will know it when you see it, because it's one of 3 animals upon this world that we have discovered. There are smaller ones, but these are the only ones that we deal with on a regular basis.
I've heard that word somewhere before.
Yeah, but it is
don't know
not
what
a
it is.
dragon.
Can I just say how uniquely improbable it is that, or fortunate that we all speak the same language-ish?
Well, this is GammaWorld. Are you kidding? Like, yeah.
It was.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I guess you'd be the same guy who's like, E.T. could not lift all those people with his telekinetic powers. Anyway, okay,
I know.
All right, thanks. All right, so at that point, yeah.
Just as a mindset, living in paradise, that does not seem at all interesting to Gary. He's an adventurer.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So
All right, so at this
So
point,
I asked
she
the
said-
question.
Yes.
Well, now we understand Narns, and you guys all follow Freya.
Yes. Oh, and
If he wields Freya's spear, does he have to follow Switch's god?
Bonnie says, "We'll not delay that answer a moment more. Why do you have Freya's spear, which Frizzle carried?"
I don't know who Frizzle or Freya is.
Oh, that is a bluff. Let's see if they can find that out.
Well, I don't know who
We never got a name.
Did I?
It's true.
Did I? We
That's-
never got a
yes,
name. And
You killed a lady to take that spear. Like so.
Well, it's still
But
his
what I-
interaction versus their insight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll their
All right. So
insight.
you want me to roll my interaction?
I'm also
Give me one
back
second.
in my armor and walking over, but
Hold
very
on, I need to
creepily.
find them.
So this potentially hostile creature appears out of nowhere.
No. I'm out of sight still. Don't worry. Or I could just be in the air. You never know.
Almost there. 1 second.
Listen, eventually it
There
was
we go,
coming.
okay.
Like they're gonna be
I
like
know.
that spear.
All right.
I was trying to avoid killing more people.
All right.
Needlessly.
I have
You guys are
a
murderers.
+7. Good luck, sir. All right. I have a 10.
I can't get that low.
All right, roll. Give me a roll.
34.
All right. So you have said that you do not know. She says, so then you're saying. So where did you get the spear?
We've gotten many of our gear in our travels.
Really? She says. So you are saying that you got
So
that.
I'll pull out my hollow scatter and show that it shows things away. I'll pull out the hammer and be able to smack the ground that leaves a massive dent.
Wait, are you trying to convince them that this spear didn't come from their world? The lady, they've clearly said that they were allied with this lady. They've seen this spear for years, for 5 years, or for a number of years that they've been here.
About 10 minutes
If
ago.
you want to say that, that's totally cool.
I'm going with it. I started down
I had
this
a lot of
road.
stuff. I don't know where I got it from.
Scott, I'm also in the air ready because I know something's going
Yeah.
down. I
So
also
Bonnie
have my
says,
armor on
it is
now,
enough. You must decide now. I will take you to the edge where you will go beyond, or each one of you will bow the knee to Queen Daphne this second. And she's like pissed that you have declared that the spear came from somewhere.
I asked her
Bonnie
if she's
knows.
mocking me.
She says, right this way.
I inch away from him.
So she doesn't even answer. She's like, this way. And so she begins to leave.
I'm in a wheelchair. I can't bend
Yeah.
the knee.
Oh, that's valid. Okay, yeah. Oh, she says, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just said yes. Okay. She says, no, I'm sorry. You're right. Bonnie, Rochelle, myself, we actually were on the diversity team in our high school. I'm terribly sorry. That was rude of me. That was rude of me. Now,
I'm just messing with you.
with her turn, she says, you must choose.
I think we should get
Are
escorted
you,
out.
she says, do you bend the knee to Queen Daphne now, or do I lead you to the edge of her realm?
Why the hostility?
But what does Emily want to do?
All right, none of you are bending the knee.
No,
She says, right this way. Okay.
Does
All right,
Emily
and then-
bend the knee?
Oh, that's a great question. I forgot about that. Thank you very much.
I would say Emily,
All right.
you should probably bend
All
the
right,
knee.
I go back
Yeah,
and get my
totally.
Jeep.
Yeah, so here's the issue. Emily is going to have boy, yeah, it's great. You know, it's odds or evens. And actually, you know what? 5 or lower, she does not bend the knee.
Okay.
6 or above,
I think she
does.
should.
20, absolutely. So at that point, Emily stays. She bends the knee.
She's been kneeling the whole time.
Even her cat bends the knee. All right, so at that point, Bonnie leads you right back, right? And she and at that point, she says, "I wish for you to step over that line. I cannot go with you. I need you to understand now."
I step across the line.
Oh,
She doesn't even finish.
says-
Hey, what am I looking at on the other side of the line here?
oh, it's great. There's absolutely no difference, right? There's no difference, and you have no idea how she knows that's the border, right?
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, she says,
I say to her, what
says,
line?
each one of you need to understand this line.
What line?
And she says, trust me, be aware. She says, you're absolutely right. It's not marked. And if you come across it,
I don't doubt that you can see it, but I can't.
she says, you now belong to the realm of Fred. So all of you passed?
I've already crossed over.
Right.
I'm gonna drop down and then cross over on foot.
Gotcha.
Crossover.
All right.
So what happened between Fred and Daphne, if I may ask? Well,
After she said Kings for Fred,
Yes.
and she says, oh, well, one, so you're still on this side of the line, right?
Yeah. I want to
Okay.
know the history before
All right.
I say one way or the other.
So Bonnie, at this point, it completely she stops, right, and she doesn't say anything for a full 30 seconds, and actually she turns, right, and she's like, you could see her wipe a tear. It's about another 30 seconds, she
Oh,
turns
no.
back, and she says, Fred and Daphne were friends at one time.
Okay.
And that day is long past. She says, Fred made a choice about a woman that was very upsetting to Queen Daphne and was unloyal to her. And from that day forward, things have escalated. And at this day, they can never be together. And we hope that when the war comes, we will have the right people who are ready to serve. And we think we are ready to defeat them.
But it looks of it, they're not ready.
Well, this world is new and confusing. There's something called diversity. I thought that meant different species, but
She says,
and I go over the line.
all right, that's it.
So
All
when
right.
we cross the line,
So one way she says,
if we look back, do we see her? Did I hear this conversation, or is there some kind of barrier?
nothing. All right, you see her. And as soon as he passes over, she breathes a sigh of relief and she says, you need to understand, if any of you pass across this line, every foot you take, Freya, as she says, every foot you take, Queen Daphne will take a life from King Fred's realm. It's happened before. 317 people died the last time someone crossed this line. Be very wary of crossing it. Good to meet you all. That's it. Right?
I look in the Jeep. Is there paint or something?
Oh, you want to mark the line?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So you mark the line, and yeah. So you mark the line, and you're able to give yourself a good clear. You look around, you map where there are, and actually in the Jeep there's a mapping tool, and you're able to map where the line appears to be.
I don't know how.
Right, because you only showed one
There's a
point,
map.
right? Yeah.
There's a map
Right.
of this realm. In the Jeep?
No, in the Jeep. It's saying,
takes a
hey, here's your
topographical
position
scan.
now. Sets a pin.
Okay.
Says, okay, here's your marking. It also, it tells you, it shows, you're able to map out, and you could tell that you guys were about 7 miles in before you came back. Okay? At that point,
I don't know if I want to be here. Much.
yes.
How confused were they when I just kind of dropped from the sky and then crossed the line?
Bonnie actually says, interesting. She says, your spells are excellent. I'm impressed. She says, do you wish to trade spells before we go? I will tell you a few of mine.
I'm just kind of, I'm gonna like look at her and be like, what spells? As I cross the line.
She says, I do pity all of you. You have made the wrong choice to stay. Then at that point, she walks away. So Bonnie walks away, and you guys continue the other way.
So, what do you know? As we walk away and we're kind of out of earshot, first thing I'll pull out my holo scanner and look around and try and see if there's anything on the horizon that we should be worrying about.
Omniscient goggles to see if I can see anybody invisible.
You are actually able to see someone. About a mile away, there's a sentry. Someone riding a horse on this side. So do you wish to go up to them?
Oh, excellent! Maybe we can kill them and take their spirits.
Becomes the enemy with the entire realm.
Maybe you should disguise that spear, wrap it in something.
So yeah, I'll.
Well, no, they'll look at it as a trophy.
I mean, they might be a little bit suspicious, but then they wouldn't just give up a spear.
Wow.
So like,
Yeah. All right. So at that point, you guys go forward and actually, do you want to put up a white flag to tell them that you're coming in peace? Do you want to sneak up on them? You could use the groves to hide.
I think we'll just go straight in.
All right. So
not charge in, but
yeah.
a meander.
All right. So at this point, as soon as the person sees you, the person on the horse immediately takes their weapon, right? Takes it off, puts it onto their back, and rides their horse forward. Okay. Sorry, getting there. And Caesar greets you.
Oh, absolutely. Heck yeah,
All
we
right,
made
on
the
his
right
horse,
choice.
he has an AR-15 on his back.
Yeah.
All right, and he says, "I'm Caesar."
Good
He says,
night.
Yes.
He says, "Welcome to the realm of Fred." He
Hello.
says, "Have you come to us first, or were you unfortunate enough to be within the realm of Queen Daphne for a time?"
We were escorted through.
He says, "Right this way. Do you hunger? Are any of you wounded?"
I'm sorry, you're awfully friendly. Thank you for this. We're not used to this readily.
We should mention that we
Hospitality.
refused to kneel to.
You refused to kneel to Queen Daphne.
Absolutely.
That is excellent. He says, "It is excellent and it is good to hear." He says, "Welcome to the realm of King Fred. Right this way." Right? And so he leads you, right? And at this point, you guys jump in the Jeep, and the Jeep is just kind of rumbling along with him. And you guys see like dozens of these apes on horses,
Yes.
all with machine guns, with like rocket launchers.
Did we see the orangutan guy?
Maurice, 200 points.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Maurice comes up. Now he's on a Clydesdale because he's a big orangutan.
I imagine Koba's not in this.
Koba is not. Koba is dead.
Rest in
50
peace.
points for that, though. Excellent.
Dang helicopter.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right, not ape. Oh, that was bad. That's hard. I love Koba. He was a great animal.
Spoilers.
All right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right. So at that point, King. So Caesar brings you guys.
So how far have we traveled? Is there
Yeah.
is there a little bit of time for conversation?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
So
yes.
I'll ask, when we were over in the
Daphne Land.
Daphne Land, they were talking about this Frizzle character.
Oh my goodness, he says, "Do not test Miss Frizzle." She is a hardy warrior. She says,
Can I?
the only way you would possibly survive is if she had not called down the Valkyries. She's of course able to call down Valkyries. That is what we're getting prepared for.
Can I?
Is the whole reason
I mention
why
that
Queen
I ended
Daphne
her?
is
Excuse me, Caesar. I may or may not have ended her.
Miss Frizzle?
Maybe.
Oh my goodness, did you face her in battle?
Does she have a name?
We might
Can you give
have.
us a description?
Absolutely. He says, so he does. He actually
Did she carry
explains-
this?
Yeah.
I pull out the spear.
Yeah. All right, so at that point he says, well, Miss Frizzle, I had talked with her for a short period. She was a fine lady, but she was an extremely dedicated servant of Freya. And she got Queen Daphne and all of the girls that serve Queen Daphne to serve Freya. Now, their servitude to Freya, I will say, is incredibly devout, and because of that, the Valkyries protect them. And the last time that one of our, he says, I must explain, we are sentient apes. There are 2,000 of us here that are led by King Fred. King Fred, I used to lead the apes, but I have realized King Fred is kinder than I, stronger than I and more wise than I.
And I have had simian friends, so I.
And actually,
I'm gonna go through my armor, and I'm just gonna establish that I am also Simeon. Of the ape.
That's awesome. He says, "Well, we shall." He says, "It is great to meet you, brother." He says, "And clearly, you have come through one of the swift."
Clearly.
Yes. 50 foot sounds good. Translucent. Right. So at that point, he says, she says, yeah. She says, of course, Miss Frizzle, and that is the real problem now. Is we're clearly on a road to war, and I truly have a great respect, and I am a devout servant of King Fred, but we are headed toward war, and I can tell you now, you have not seen the likes of the fury those Valkyries bring down. I am very wary of when our two groups clash, but it is to come soon.
Is that spear required?
He says, so that is truly the spear of Freya, indeed? He says, it would be incredibly helpful if you were to aid us when the war comes. Now, I must explain to you very quickly. He says, you guys must be aware of what has happened here. He says, I will give you all the knowledge I have before you meet King Fred, so you can speak with him.
I have one very important
from
question.
A place of knowledge.
Are there any women here?
He says, unfortunately, there are not.
So it is...
son of a...
It is literally a division by gender?
He says...
It's a high school dance.
Well, it is interesting. He says, there have been many groups that have come through, and there have been groups like yours, where they have met Queen Daphne and her people. All of you were given the option to declare allegiance to Queen Daphne, were you not?
We were.
Yeah.
We were, but they wanted, immediate decisions, and you must do this. There was no real time for parlay or interaction.
Oh, wait a
We
minute.
had
Are we
like
going to
a
have to...
2-minute expose on the history of these two kingdoms, and that was it.
Are we going to have to...
Women.
Kneel to King Fred?
Oh, no, of course not. He says, now, and actually at that point, he stops. And one of the apes does this. And he comes forward, and he puts his hand out. And one of the apes comes up, and he puts his hand into his... And the ape, puts his hand completely down. And he says, this... And he shows this, right? One of the apes, he puts his hand out, and the ape takes complete subservience and shows that he is subservient to Caesar. He says, this is why I and everyone follows King Fred. When I battled King Fred and he defeated me, I went to give my obeisance, and he instead lifted me, and he said, none of you shall ever serve me. We are brothers. We choose him as king. He says, and from that, and we have all been protected, and he has given us a great home. He brings wise rule, and he is extremely fair. Exactly. And because he does not allow obeisance from anyone, no one is allowed. There's no hierarchy among us.
So it sounds like Queen Daphne's a badass and Fred's kind of a bitch.
It doesn't matter. This world can't exist.
So is it Norns?
There's guys on one end, girls on the other.
So
not for only for so long.
So do you have Narns?
Oh yes,
in your area?
Yeah. At that point, he explains all the animals the way he did.
Question.
But the part that Bonnie didn't tell you guys, he says everything she said. Right? He said, and of course, the most terrible part of the Narn is
she left out a predator.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's one thing about the predator she left out. He says they're incredibly deadly predators, and they could kill you without their stinger. But their tail has a stinger, and it usually kills it usually kills immediately within 1 to 3 seconds.
So
it's a deadly poison. You have to be incredibly careful.
Are they like wyverns?
Oh, it's a great question. He says, they are. He says they're ground animals. They have no ability to fly. They have 3 rows of teeth. They have patches of both scale and fur. It's very unsettling. They're crazy fast. They're incredibly difficult to see at night. Now, the issue is, one, they never go near fire, right? The other issue is, he says, the only time that he says they do attack occasionally, and what we do immediately, and he looks and he points, he says, as you can see in every single one of them, in addition to their AR-15, they all have some full automatic machine gun on them. They also have a short sword. He says, no, it's a small blade. It's about 12 inches long. He says, if you go against a Narn, you have to chop off that tail, because if they hit you with it, you're done. You're dead. Period.
I am seriously interested in hunting them.
Why?
He says,
because the armor ignores poison.
He says, well,
resist poison. But
we have a few guys here who do that. He says, I will introduce you to them.
I would definitely be interested.
Absolutely.
What is the one scarred up ape from the movie? He probably is one of the hunters.
Koba died.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought Koba was the big gorilla.
Human work?
I thought that Koba was the big gorilla.
No, that was Maurice.
Yeah, Koba was the one.
Oh, no, the other
Maurice was an orangutan.
The other big gorilla, the other one.
I know who you're talking about. Koba, he died, but he was very scarred.
So how do you propagate your people?
Exactly.
He says, it is a terrible problem. He says, the biggest way that we propagate our people is, you are 100% right. It has been a terrible problem. We don't even know why we're here. We've been trying to get out. But to tell the truth, we have stopped in some ways trying to get out. There's fine food sources here, and there's they really want for nothing.
It would be much easier if you were like my people and you could plant your spores.
He says that's very true, and he says, and to tell the truth, I suspect. He says, yes. You know what? He says, I will let King Fred explain that part to you. But, and I do not wish to keep any secrets. It is a terrible problem. You are 100% correct. Our inability to have children, he says, is a major problem, and frankly, I think it's going to be the start of the war.
Why don't we fix the whole problem?
Yeah.
I have.
Yes.
So I ask him. So the allegiance to the Rose people, they worship Freya. Is there a god here that is worshipped?
We do not worship a god.
Fred
has told us of many gods from many different worlds. Before he came here and brought, before him and Daphne, and then at that point, and he said, and at that point they all stop. All of the apes stop, right? And you guys kind of pulled a jeep, and then they stop. All of them stop, right? And he says, and Shaggy and Velma and Scooby-Doo, and all of them whisper it, right? They say it at the lowest possible word, and they do not move. And then they stop. They keep going for about 5 seconds, and then they kind of resume and all step back up. And they say, he says, do not mention the names that we have just whispered to King Fred. It is the only thing that upsets him. It brings him great sadness. And
didn't even know those names before you said them.
Yes,
did they side for? Did they go to the other side or something?
And actually, at that point, he says,
I believe they passed.
He says, the three who cannot be named, they are missing, and they have been missing since Daphne and Fred split. I will tell you what happened.
There was a child in the Daphne's realm that they called Velma.
Yes. How is she?
She seemed okay.
Really?
She was crying. But
what about the spots on her face? Red spots. Were they there?
Did we see red spots?
You did not. She looked completely healthy.
She looked completely healthy. In fact, was it Nancy that was holding her?
Yeah.
Nancy even asked if I had not encountered many human children. She asked if I wished to hold her.
He says, riders, forward! Give me space. I need to speak with these men. All of them. Ride out beyond to one of the groves. You stop your jeep. He jumps in the jeep. And he says, that is the child of... He says, that is the child. So I will tell you what occurred. That is Fred's child. When all 5 of the gang came here, right? And then he says Fred and Daphne, and he whispers ever so quiet. Hold on.
Shaggy, Scooby.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So he says, when Daphne and Fred came here together, and then he whispers these names. He won't say them like above a whisper. He says, when they came, there was a year where they were very happy here together. At that point, there were 3 others who came. There was a man named Archie Andrews. He came with 2 women, a woman named Betty and a woman named Veronica Lodge. And at that point, Fred had been wooing Daphne for some time. And it was upsetting to Fred that she would not accept his invitation. Yes, his advances. That is exactly right. When Betty came here...
I have that problem too.
when Betty came here, she asked Daphne if her and Fred were together. Daphne told Betty, no, we are not, and you may choose anyone here to be with except Fred. Betty ignored her advice. Betty and Fred fell in love, and they had that child. When they had that child, Daphne immediately left, and the 2 of them, and the group was sundered. No one knows exactly what happened. Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo have not been seen since then. We do not know where they went.
What of Archie and Veronica?
This is an excellent question. They disappeared at the same time as Shaggy and Velma and Scooby-Doo. Of course, he whispers those voices.
I guess nobody cares about that.
Yeah. And he says... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Wait. Let's back up. That is when there was a terrible problem. Betty and Fred married. Betty became... And then at that point, Daphne left. Betty became pregnant with child. There were rift sweeps, and there were rift sweeps that were occurring, and Queen Daphne got some more followers. When it was time for Betty to have children, Fred did not know how to help her, and I did not know how to help her, and none of the male apes here knew how to help her either. So we sent for aid. Daphne came. She came with Bonnie, Rochelle, Nancy, and Sarah. Betty died in childbirth. And Fred accused Bonnie and Rochelle of cursing her. And at that point, the child was born, and the child remained with us, right? Everything was fine everything was fine for another period of time, and you can see the baby has been growing. And I'm about to tell you something that King Fred does not know. At that point, he says,
how old approximately?
The child?
Yeah.
The child appeared to be about 8 months old.
Okay.
He says, about 2 months ago, he says, the child became sick, and we could do nothing to heal her. I could not see King Fred suffer anymore. I stole the child myself and took her to Daphne, and because I knew that we could not heal her. And that is why Queen Daphne has the child. It is also why King Fred believes she has been stolen and is mounting for war now.
So why does Daphne's people think that they should be going to war?
Oh, he says, actually, Daphne's people do not think they should be going to war.
Oh, no, they do.
Oh, that is most interesting. Well, they do know. Actually, we all know the rule here. If any of our people go into their land, they kill a number of our people equal to the number of feet that we've gone into their land.
The number of steps.
Right. And that would not be a problem. He said, except, let me now show you. He says, well, and he actually circles back his men. He calls them back, and they all go around. He says, do you see all these men who are riding horses? He said, all these apes who are riding horses? He says, they are sentient like me. They can speak. But where we came from, not all of them came through. Those apes are actual apes. They are not sentient. And sometimes they go through the border, and then they come to war upon us. And it cuts down our people. So the war is coming. But Fred has decided not to wait, and he is mounting, and he has 2 men who are there now who are teaching us how to kill Valkyries. I do not think it will work. I think we are in for a terrible, terrible war, but my service to King Fred is
was it only this
ultimate.
Frizzle person that could call the Valkyries?
No, not at all. She says she was the closest among them, but Queen Daphne absolutely can call the Valkyries. And also, those witches, they certainly can Bonnie and Nancy and Rochelle. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. King Fred has told me not to call them witches.
They say that they know of the craft. I'm not exactly certain what that means, but they did not seem composed of power or even control at times.
Well, there is a question on whether they have magic or not. Some people believe they do. Some people believe they don't. But at this point, he says, I must tell you, you are... So at this point, and you guys have been walking, and at this point, King Fred rides out, right? And he goes, welcome to our realm. I am Fred. Now, King Fred, okay, he is wearing all his traditional clothes, right? But there are plates of armor that are wrapped around him. He's got this big full beard, right?
Savage Fred.
Yeah, exactly. and at this point, and also he's got the big AR-15 with a grenade launcher underneath of it. He's got a bandolier of grenades, and he says, "We are readying for war. I apologize if he says if our rations are less than we could normally give you." He says, "We have food. We have," and he says, "And we have." He says, "If you need any care, anything we have, is yours." And he says, "But we are readying for war." He says, "We will make homes for you right away, but I must let you know we are readying for war soon." He says, "Of course, none of you will be expected to fight in that war." He says, "I do believe it may be a terrible, terrible battle, but we must regain my daughter."
This does not sound good at all.
Nope.
Yeah. All right.
Still got the thing, right?
The wish thing?
Yeah. Why don't we wish everyone back from where they came from?
So
wish everyone here back to where they came from.
So we would go back to GammaWorld. People in GammaWorld will go back to their worlds. These people will go back to their worlds.
No, it wouldn't affect
it would
GammaWorld.
just here.
Yeah.
Just here.
It would return everyone from this realm back out.
To wherever they came from before here.
I mean, I could.
Yeah. We could avert a terrible war.
Will it still happen between them? Because Daphne and Fred are still going to hate each other.
Here's a question.
My guess is they'll all go to different worlds.
Everyone here needs to make a perception check.
What about...
Wait. Right now, just use your own brains.
I don't want to.
See? Wait.
I choose not to.
Does anybody see what would happen if you did that?
The baby gets left here alone.
Oh, I already 1,000 XP.
I already called that. I said what would happen to the baby.
I knew it before I said it.
You got it. You got the 1,000. That's exactly right.
The 1,000 as
the
well?
wish would fully be granted, and that baby would be here, and it would be eaten by Narns on the next day.
Do I get the 1,000?
It's one life.
Oh my gosh!
Scott,
well,
do I get the 1,000 as well?
I'm not good. Wish shells. Wish shells are the best.
Do I get the 1,000 as well?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It wasn't your fault that you didn't hear. I'm sorry I missed your awesome comment. Okay. Oh, that's the best. I love wish spells. That wish spell got shafted before you guys even tried. Nice. Well, you could leave it baby here, eaten by arms. Still an option.
Still an option.
I still want to go hunt one of them.
Why?
Fun. I'm an adventurer.
All right.
Well, then what do you wish to do? I would rather see this war stopped.
So at this point,
well, it's going to be some time before the war.
You hear?
They're getting ready now.
You hear? Okay, so hold on. We'll go right there. So somebody says, "I heard that you guys wanted to hunt Narns," and at that point, a gentleman by the name of Bo screams up in an orange '69 Dodge Charger with a 01 on the side.
Oh yeah.
And Luke is on the other side. And he says,
"We're
heading out looking for Nards soon, man. You want to join?"
Is the flag on top?
No, of course not. I don't even know what flag you're talking about,
and
buddy.
they say Scott's
I have
controversial.
no idea what flag you're talking about.
Okay.
I said this is an orange '69 Charger with a 01 on the side. If any of you think you know what that is, maybe you do. Maybe there was a flag on there at some point. But I certainly wouldn't introduce that flag.
I don't get it.
It's okay. We're good. Somebody will tell you after. All right.
Play when you're older.
Your uncle's just trying to start trouble.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so at that point, Bo and Luke jump out, and actually, there's a lot of talk amongst them.
The boys are at it
and
again.
And by the way, you guys are fully in. Like the apes are there. They bring you guys food right away. King Fred sits down with you. Bo and Luke sit down with you. Actually, all of you are sitting on the hood. A couple of you are sitting on the hood of the 0169 Dodge Charger, and at that point, you guys are discussing. And and essentially they are already going out and finding tenant areas for you guys, and your decision now is you've heard it, you've heard the whole nine. You know why the war's coming, and you're here, and you're gonna have to choose sides or wait and just live in the wait for those two sides to kill each other, and then pick up whatever devices you can among the wreckage. But you have to decide.
Or just wish ourselves back right now.
That's true. You could wish yourselves back. That's absolutely true. Or you could wish any one person here back.
I know this is not anything that Gary was thinking.
I would not be that selfish.
But a total hit on Fred and Daphne would solve this problem.
No, probably.
You mean
create a martyr or two martyrs? Someone else would step up.
So actually,
really.
I think Caesar would make a better
I'm
leader.
going to give you a perception check. I'll set the DC.
I think Caesar would make a better leader.
Hold on. Wait, 1 second. Good luck. Perception. I got it set. 17. You do not succeed. That's okay. All right. So at that point, it was a 25. Sorry. Okay. So you guys are doing your thing. And at that point, they continue, getting ready for war. What do you guys, and the entire next day is spent doing nothing.
Wait, I got another solution. What if we wish this whole realm to GammaWorld?
Oh. Would that make things better or worse?
Well, maybe it'll cut off the Valkyries. It's less slaughter.
Or just more slaughter
this.
on the Rose side.
I might like this solution.
Or we could just wish all of us to have.
The thing is, though,
like
the division between them is still going to be, and they would just be having this war in GammaWorld. And I don't know if they would survive.
You know what? Maybe they need a little more adversity in their lives, and this place doesn't provide that for them, so they had to create their own.
I know, they called us crass. Like, what's wrong with them?
Well, only Nancy did that, but but you're right. That was a little rude. I would agree. Yeah. All right. So at that point,
we can fix this. We got to wish spell. There's something we can do.
So you guys, the day starts going forward. That evening, they actually bring you guys over, and you could tell that there are apes that are sleeping out in the groves tonight, or near the groves tonight, and they have made they've made one whole tent for each one of you, and each of those has fresh, clean clothes. And at that, so they bring you each to one of your tents. They have food, like a plate of food there for you, and you've been fed from the moment you were here. And then the last thing is Caesar comes forward and he says, I am very sorry to ask you this night. He says, but we live in a state of war here. If any of the non-sentient apes were to cross the line this evening, we could be attacked. It has happened before. It's been a long time. It's been quite a while since we were attacked. But I did want to let you know. Do you wish to have
Blue Eyes here?
Ah!
Was Blue Eyes one of the ones killed?
Blue Eyes is here.
Okay,
absolutely. Cool. Yeah, and so he says, and so at that point, he says, Blue Eyes is here, but you haven't met him yet. Mm-hmm. But by the way, I'm going to give you 250 XP for Remember Blue Eyes. That was great. And everything they told you has proven to be true once you got here. Like there are about 2,000 apes that live here. There's Bo and Luke, and there is the 69 Charger with the 01 on the side, and then in addition, of course King Fred. And
I don't know why I found that funny that you just lumped Bo and Duke in with the apes. But I just did.
By the way, and so also and he says do you wish to have our kit of weapons so that you may fight among us with the same weapons that we have? We are not offering them saying that you must fight with us. We are offering you weapons in case we're attacked this evening. Do you need them?
What kind of weapons do they have?
I think we're good.
Oh, by the way,
Why
it's
am I the only
AR-15s.
one trying to stop the war?
So here's their kitted out, right? So you get the choice, right? You can be kitted out like an ape, which is an AR-15 with grenade launcher underneath, and the 12-inch blade to cut off the Narn's tail. Okay, that's their full kit. Or you could be given a composite longbow, with 3 arrows, all with sticks of dynamite on the end. That's the Bow and Luke weapons kit.
I don't know.
Those are the two you get to choose from.
I've got literally an incredible laser pistol.
That's true.
So I have no idea what that
does.
is.
Yeah. So just so you're aware, that does fit the numbers purely for the laser pistol that's in the book, and it will do. It does +2 for accuracy, and it does a plus D6 for damage. Okay, and so back to you guys. Oh, so do you
I'm trying to figure out how to stop the war, but my party seems hell bent on this war happening.
Yeah.
No,
we might get some sick stuff out of it.
Yeah.
I was kind of thrown for a
and if you want another 5 minutes to think of another solution, I'll absolutely give that.
If
I don't want to rush you guys.
spear was from one person,
yeah.
think about the other options for multiple people.
Yeah. Well, and the Valkyries, I mean, that's no joke.
I mean, that's like a unique weapon, though.
Yeah.
The luck blade is a unique weapon. That's a unique weapon.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Emily's over there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Emily's over there.
And her cat.
Yes, and her cat.
Boy.
Hopefully she got healing for the scratches on her belly.
Would it count as a heavy one-handed gun or a light one-handed gun?
Heavy one-handed gun. Yeah. All right.
Okay,
by the way,
so it does 3d6 with +2 accuracy.
And it does 2d6 normally.
Yes.
That way, yeah, that's exactly right. But all handling, it counts as a light weapon. So
What
it has
if
the number
we
of
wish
heavy?
just
so that
this
has
side?
accuracy of +4.
Yes,
to get back to
exactly.
Gamma
And
World.
anything else that you get
There wouldn't
benefits
be a war.
for. So the only thing it has from heavy is just the damage.
Okay.
We wouldn't know
Plus
what
the
happened to
D6,
Fred,
yeah.
Velma, or Shaggy, though.
And it is, and just so you're aware,
Fred's right here.
it's
He'd be with us.
long, has a tapered barrel.
Shaggy,
It's really
Scooby,
well
and Velma.
crafted.
We wouldn't know
It's
what
actually,
happened to them.
it
Well, that's
actually
true.
was standard issue.
Well,
on
we
the
can
Space
stay here and wish
Cruiser motto.
everyone else.
All right.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
I would like to
They
know
were here
what
with Norls all
happened to
alone.
Shaggy from
Well, and the ladies.
That is an excellent question.
That we can't go over
250 XP just for asking. You go through the whole camp that night. And by the way, you are greeted as a guest everywhere you go. And you are able to ask them, right? And they all whisper back. But unlike the other people, they'll totally answer your question. Nobody knows where they went.
We could wish all the women.
I
away.
also whispered it when I asked.
That doesn't sound great
that's
at
very
all.
good.
Just to be respectful for
they
their.
genuinely don't know.
That's going to send the
They
kid
genuinely
too.
Don't know.
Yes.
All right.
So we're to throw it together. What's the difference?
Yeah.
The
All right.
kid's safe. They're caring for it.
Yeah. All right. What
do
was
you
your
think war's gonna
idea?
do? I have a bunch of ideas. No one likes any of my ideas. I try to stop. I'm like, we could wish this up.
You're all trying to. You're trying to use the wish though.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can, well, it's all we got.
Yeah.
We can use one round.
We could do assassinations. There's that too.
Who's that going to help?
We could kill Daphne.
Then one of the other ones will step up and there'll still
Then
be
we
a
kill
war.
them.
Then we
You create a
then we kill
martyr.
them.
Eventually, they'll run out of people.
And actually, just so
There is
you're
a
aware.
feud between Daphne and Fred.
Just so
that
you're
will not-
aware, you guys have just put like you are walking through and you realize, oh my gosh, you saw 4 girls in skirts, 1 lady in a sunshine dress, and a queen that you never even saw, and this entire group of 2,000 horse riding apes with AR-15s are terrified of those handful of women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah.
So Scott, here's the options I put forth. I said we could wish one side or the other side back to GammaWorld, or we could wish everyone back to where they came from. The baby would probably get eaten by horns, but that's one life compared to probably hundreds or thousands. We could wish everyone back to GammaWorld, and maybe it'll give them something else to think about. Possibly cutting them off from Freya and the Valkyries.
I will say as a game master, every single one of those are fully within the power of the luck blade. That is my comment. All right. Now, at that point, by the way, did anybody
Let's
hear?
wish all the Norns to GammaWorld.
There'll be no predators. Oh, but then, like, yeah, okay. You're wishing all the predators to GammaWorld. Oh my gosh, GammaWorld is the worst world in the world. There's so many terrible things
I
there.
think it's still better. I think it would still be better.
It wouldn't
Oh my gosh,
change.
yeah,
No
it's
one would
arguably
notice.
better than this one, yeah.
I
one
mean,
would
natural
notice.
selection.
Yeah.
So-
You're exactly right. No one would notice. They're like, yeah, they've always been here.
Right,
I know
poisonous
it's stupid.
lizards.
Yeah.
Right, put them over there with the poisonous
Exactly.
chickens.
It's wyverns that can't fly.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
All right, now, one, I'm giving you 300 XP for all those,
Oh, yeah,
for
level
those
9.
ideas. It's an excellent idea. I don't think any of those, I'm not saying that any of those are an excellent idea. I think it's really good that you're using the resources you have.
All right.
All right.
So
Yes.
So
I'm going.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. So, one, you guys have, free reign, but I do need to know, there was a decision point. Are any of you...
I don't want any of the kits.
No, you don't need any of the kits. Did you need any of the kits?
No.
Any of the kits? You guys are like... Now, do you show them your own weapons? Oh, okay. Well, when there is like a super weapon party, right? And like every ape comes over. Bo and Luke Duke are like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? Like they're super excited, right? And yeah,
I imagine my identity disc looks pretty cool.
yeah.
I sneak
absolutely, yeah.
off and go find King Fred.
Oh no! Oh, excellent. That's a great point. Now, the only thing I want to say to you guys is, you guys have a crap ton of Omega Tech.
So
These guys are fighting with little. You can equip some of these apes or Bo and Luke Duke with some of your Omega Tech.
All
You
right,
do
so
that.
I've got a stack of stuff that
Yeah.
I really have no real need for.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to give.
How do they feel about dream grenades?
Ah, nice. Are you going to give one? Who are you going to give it to? Ape or Blue Eyes? Do you want to give one of those to Blue Eyes?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them the blue eyes.
That's excellent. One, you are best friends with Blue Eyes now. He guides you through the group, right? And that is, and also you are going to get 150 XP for each one of them that you gave back.
So I'm totally drawing a blank on the main
Maurice?
ape's name.
Yeah, Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah.
You said
so-
how much XP per?
150 each. Yeah.
So how does he feel about wearing heavy armor?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I would really appreciate it.
So here is MK3 scout armor.
All right, and he immediately tells one of his apes to get him a Clydesdale because he's going to need it. That is very kind. You can take 150 XP. All right, thank you. You can take 300, and you are giving to Caesar's army, serving Fred, a force pike and Cerametal armor. Thank you very much. You got your XP. You go over to talk to Fred. Fred comes over and he says, "What happened to you, sir? Were you injured?"
Yeah, you could say that, but it's all right. I got better.
All right. So was there any way, because I wanted to talk to Fred as well, that I could come with you, or were you trying to do this stealthily?
Or did you want to talk to him alone, or
Well, you guys are giving out tech and comparing weapons. So
Well, no, I mean, I can push you back, but if you want to talk to him alone, that's cool. Did you want to talk to him by yourself?
I will talk to him by myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want
might
his
have
awesome presence messing me
All right,
up.
go ahead. Hit it. Give it to me.
King Fred.
Yes.
Is there any way we can stave the blood flow? There's got to be another way.
He says, "She has my daughter. I have to go get her."
We seen the baby. She's well.
Really? She's well.
She's well and healthy and
But
being
you
cared
know
for.
she was stolen. She sent one. He says she sent one of those. She sent Bonnie to get that child. He almost tries to call her the word, but he can't.
Yeah.
He says, I'm
shaking my head
remain
no.
kind."
I wonder if there was a hex put on the world
goes,
where they can't call
She
Wiccans.
flusters my ascot, man.
That's not what happened, Fred.
He goes, "What do you think happened?
I know what happened.
What happened?"
Caesar told me the story. The baby was sick and dying.
She was dying, and that's when she was stolen.
She's healthy now.
What? But how do you think that they got the baby if they didn't steal her?
They didn't steal your baby.
How else would the baby be there now?
Caesar could not stand for you to watch your baby die, and he took the baby to them. Caesar saved the baby's life.
All right, he turns around and he just like slams his dent into your Jurassic World Jeep. And you're like, "Oh!" He goes, "If he wasn't the best servant any man has ever had, and if I didn't love him like a brother, I would box him about the ears right now."
Fred, your daughter would be dead right now.
He goes,
She's
"Oh,
alive and healthy.
Daphne will never return her."
But
Ugh.
I agree, but I don't think more bloodshed is the answer. Is that what you want? A baptism of blood for your daughter?
He goes, it is not what I want, but we can't wait. We can't wait for them to strike us again. We lost 317 apes the last time they attacked us. And do you know why they attacked us? Because a non-sentient ape walked over their border, which they've marked with witchcraft.
Is there a way that we can mark the border? So build a wall or something, a fence.
Build a wall?
Maybe just a white picket fence that looks friendly. Don't go over there. Maybe, have you thought of signs?
Please
Keep
don't
off the
adventure
grass.
beyond.
He says, that I've never thought of that. He says, and we could build it on our own side. It's a
Yes.
fascinating idea.
It would give you time. Perhaps there's another solution. I know it's not what you want to hear, Fred, but war is not the answer. What if your daughter is killed in this war?
He says, oh, I would not want that. He says,
You're going to be firing automatic rifles, and there's going to be grenades and dynamite on arrows. It's not terribly accurate.
wow.
And the witches are just carrying that baby around. They carried that baby amongst us, and we are
And she
quite
was
dangerous.
completely healthy.
Completely. No red spots.
Did it seem like the witches meant her any harm?
They were caring for her. They were raising her, comforting her. They were going to even allow my companion to hold her.
All right, you are going to roll a persuasion check.
Oh shit!
Let's do it.
You guys are bones.
All right. Can
I float my bonus that way?
This is an interaction. I'm going to set the DC right now. Hold on.
Can I float my number?
That's on a plus 11.
Good luck.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but you get you get your or no, not
What do you got?
plus 8, 9. That is an 18.
All right. You needed a 15.
Oh my god.
Oh, goodness.
We'll begin building the wall in the morning.
Oh, happy
It's an
day.
excellent idea. He says, I'm so glad that you're here, Rod Hottenstein. Your wisdom is excellent. He says, I will gather my council now, and we will sleep this very evening. And that's exactly what happens, right? So you guys spend the rest of the day. The only thing, all right, so at that point, the next morning, they begin building the wall. Now what's going to happen is there's a chance that one of the sentient apes will go out, even as there are patrols, but the chance is very low, okay? The wall begins to be built. You guys are guests here. You are not expected to help build a wall, but you can help build a wall. How many of you do that? All right.
Can
Excellent.
I keep down? If I were doing my speeds to patrols, would that reduce the likelihood of a non-sentient ape wandering into the danger zone?
Absolutely. So you're going to go onto the patrol to stop the apes from going down?
Yeah.
All right. So the odds of an ape...
I'm going to flash my Everlight to make them go the other way.
Oh, also,
yeah.
I have another idea too. In addition to what you're doing, is like the Norns, right? They're predators. They're dangerous.
Absolutely.
What if we put like Norn musk or Norn skins along the border too, to help scare the non-sentient apes away from the border?
We need to hunt them first now, wouldn't
Holy
we?
crap.
Let's do it.
This is a brilliant idea. That is awesome. All right. Wow. All right. Yes.
So I did ask that I wanted to be able to speak to Fred as well.
Yes.
I mean he's
Yes.
stolen.
Yes.
He's busy now
That was
preparing for
brilliant.
peace.
A lot of
So
the
later
the
that
fun there.
evening, go right ahead.
There are many that are gearing up for war, and when we actually spoke to Bonnie and Nancy and them, they were very very adamant about kneeling, and Caesar says that you actually don't really call for that here, but Caesar says that you guys are preparing for war, and he was surprised when I told him that they said that they were gearing for war. I assume that what he said has kind of trickled down into the ranks, that we're not looking for war at the very moment.
That's your choice. If you saw him earlier than that, you could still deal with him. It's totally your choice on when you see him.
Okay, well I assume that happened first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
okay.
So what reason would they have to seek you out for war? What reason do they have to say these 50 square miles are ours, stay off?
What? Wait, what is the question again? One more time?
Why would the women be ready to go to war that Caesar wouldn't think that they have a reason to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can explain that. Daphne has a burning hatred for Fred. I'm sorry, you're talking to Fred. Daphne has a burning hatred for me, and I understand why. Like, I tried to make her my paramour for quite a few days, and when she said, literally, you're the only guy in this world except Shaggy, and I reject you, I got upset, and everything was fine, but we lived in peace for a long time until Betty came. And when Betty came, I chose to be with a woman who chose to love me. And that made Daphne extremely angry, and also made her extremely angry when we had a child. And I think that's why she cursed Betty when she was here to help her, and it's why Betty died. And that's why, and she has reason to hate us. We were happy, and all of this has been shattered by her cruelty.
I am not one who actually knows, love and that emotion. It's very, very, very new experience dealing with that. Since your daughter's birth, has there been any attempt at reconciliation? I know that you believe your love's death is possible at the hands of one of these women.
Mm-hmm.
There is many who have died over this bloodshed. Is there any chance that the stories say
that there could be peace between the two of us?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I would never be able to be within the same room with her, and I can tell you now, nor would she be able to be in the same room for me. And the reason why is she saw me and Betty. She saw us for a brief period. It was probably 3 days, but she saw what true love was, and that her obstinance to not choose to make our relationship official, she saw that, and she has a burning anger, and she's incredibly right. Our worlds are broken. Her choice has broken my world and hers.
Now, living in the past, you are currently looking at the moment of your loss, and I understand that, but that is not healthy.
He says, "You did not see Betty, my wife. You cannot understand."
I cannot understand, but I have had brothers and sisters from the
same spore sample.
when our worlds when my world was shoved into GammaWorld, buildings literally came down upon our spore, and we were literally crushed. And it is only through the mighty power of Lord Gygax that I am among the living. For I was smushed beneath a building.
Wow.
His holy power brought me back here, and I have been in service to him ever since. Now, I could sit and mourn the loss of those of my clan, my spore, with what happened, or we can move on and learn what we could from it. Now, there is times that sacrifice must happen in order to progress. Our lives were changed, and I hold up my holy tomes. We have been guided by these books ever since. I now possess the power to not only heal myself but others as well. And I scrape the dagger across my forearm and just show my fleshy skin knit back together, and
truly amazing.
I can extend this to those around me.
He says, "I have heard your words." All right, and at this point, I will give you your persuasion roll. I have set the DC. All right.
That is a piddly 23.
You needed a 28. Nice try. That was excellent. 300 XP. Well done. Extremely well done. And actually,
my God, you got 300 XP for failing. I didn't get any XP for building the wall.
I got 300 XP for an awesome speech and playing his character. All right. Okay. So at that point, there are 2 things happening the next day. Actually, you are on guard duty, so you're not. No, there will be times where you can come off of guard duty and they'll cover for you. You are extremely. So there's a 15%.
I'm very fast.
There's a 15% chance every 10 days. And it's going to take 30 days to build a wall. What you guys have said is there's only a 5% chance that one of the sentients goes through. If I roll a 1 on this, it'll happen in the first 10 days. All right, and we're gonna make 3 of those rolls. So the next day, you can go and help with the wall, or you guys can go. You guys all go together to help with the wall, or all go together with Bo and Luke to hunt the Narns. To get the scent to lay out. Now, building the wall, here's a heavy brick. I'm putting that brick here. Going to get the Narns. Cut off the Narn's tail. If you miss, it hits you and you die. Right? So what choice are you? So where are you guys going?
What if
wait, I just want to be clear. What about if you go to hunt Narns and you get some bad rolls, your character will die. just be clear.
What if you're wearing power armor that resists toxins?
Yeah, absolutely. So 1, you are going to have by far the hard.
What if you're a ghost?
It doesn't really work that way. I'm not like a true ghost.
Yeah. So actually, absolutely. So yeah, actually, that's a good question. All right. So with the Narns, you would have it would be very, very difficult for them to. Okay, great question. With your Space Marine armor, it would be extremely difficult. The only way they would be able to kill you is if they were to literally claw your helmet off. But even those seal. So actually, at this point, it sounds. Let's just put it this way: who's going to help?
I'm hunting Narns.
You're hunting Narns.
I've already said I wanted to do it.
I don't want to die.
Nard hunting.
I'm good with the wall.
All right,
it was my idea.
You can get coverage. What are you doing, Mike?
You know what I'm doing. I'm doing the guard duty.
Well, okay, so 1, that is 100% great idea, but you don't have to do it 100% of the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so you absolutely are free. Yeah.
So do you want to do death rolls?
Then I will build the wall. Right. I'll build the wall.
Build the wall. Gotcha. Okay.
I never thought I would agree with Trump and build the wall.
Luke, so Bo and Luke get in.
You'll be so proud.
You are brought out, so they get so Bo takes the 69 Charger with the 01 on the side.
That's going to be an awful mouthful every time.
And the Jurassic Park world is driven by Luke, and you're on the top. And they go, "You're taking that crap off when we get to see the Narns, aren't you?"
No.
He goes, "You can't fight the Narns with that stuff on. They're not going to be able to sting you."
That's the point.
Well, it's just... That's not fair. These are proud predators, man. You can't just go out there and punch them with some Space Marine armor.
This isn't man. There are rules.
Exactly. He goes, "You think we have that armor?" He goes, "We have killed 4 Nards while we were here. You know how we did it? We chopped it off with this here blade." And he goes, "That's the only way it's done, buddy. Are you literally going to let those Nards and then just punch them down and rip off their tail?"
I pull out the gravity hammer and turn it on with that humming noise. Oh, I'm going to smash it.
He goes, "That's not sporting, dude. This is the blade we use. Come on, buddy. Get with it."
Sissy.
They look down, dude.
All right. So here's what happens: you go out with Bo and Luke, and they take you to where the Nards are, right? And so we'll roll it, okay? All right. Now you're in Space Marine armor, dude. There's nothing those guys are going to be able to do because even your helmet locks. In Space Marine armor, it don't matter. I mean, this thing was made to be hit by high elf ballistic rounds. So basically, they will come at you, they will claw you, and you literally just twist their neck and they're dead. Okay? Now, I do have to roll for Bo and Luke Duke. Each one of them has a 10% chance of being killed. If this hits a 1 or a 2, so here's Bo, 1 or a 2. 17, he's fine. That's Bo. And here's Luke.
You should have had 10 roll. That's
yes.
Should have been.
Both of them are alive. You got 3 Narn tails, right? And they are taking you back, but Luke is completely silent. He's like, I can't believe that. That was completely unfair and unsportsmanlike. He goes, Uncle Jesse would have been horrified if he had seen that. Would have been horrified. Because, man.
So, when they get back to the camp, or town or city or whatever it is they live in, do the rumors start spreading like wildfire and everyone shuns Gary now? It just totally looks down on him?
No. Actually, the apes are thrilled. They're like, that makes a lot of sense to me. So Blue Eyes comes over and goes, Blue and Luke are completely insane. He goes, do you know that they have a fighting style that they've been teaching us where they drive that 69 Charger around and they're teaching us to shoot into the air with these Valkyries? They use arrows that have dynamite on them. And I'm telling you, they are nuts. You should definitely be using your armor.
So, this is much more effective when I pull out the laser gun.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right.
Why don't you show him how to use it?
He doesn't know.
At that point, okay, so the first 10 days.
Hey, wait a minute. Could I instruct some of the apes some of the smarter apes to know how to use some of the Federation phasers I have?
The Federation phasers.
Set him to stun?
Oh, yeah, in order to continue to, well, what would they use them for? Oh, for war. You mean in case the war breaks out?
I think to stun the non-sentient apes.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Absolutely. So we reduced them down to 5%. I'm going to take that down to 4%. I need another D10. This, the black is the 10s.
So it's a D100.
Yeah. 001 to 04 is a failure, and war breaks out in the first 10 days while you're building the wall. 99, you're good to go. The wall has been completely built, right, for the first 10 days. Here's the second 20. All right. And it's an 86, all right? Oh, now, also, by the way, does anybody go and legitimately hunt Narns with Bo and Luke like men?
No, absolutely not.
All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to try before the last day of the wall building?
Well, didn't Caesar say that like Fred was like a god or something?
They treat him with complete respect. He has no divinity. He's just a normal man.
He's just a dude.
He's Fred, but with a more awesome beard.
Still the same mascot.
Right, exactly.
The only plus side is most of it is hidden by the beard.
Right, exactly. So
I'm probably going to join in some of the training things that they have because they'll most likely have training. And
that's fantastic in case war breaks out. All right, so at that point, you and Blue Eyes continue to talk, and he starts to, and by the way, if you don't have leadership, you can add that because he's been being taught leadership by his father.
Leadership is not a skill.
Exactly, so that is going to give you a +2 to your interaction. So you can put +2. Lead anything that connects to leadership, you will have a +2 on that action. Okay, all right. So at that point, you spend time and. Maurice really likes comic books. He brings out this old comic book that he has. You guys spend some time reading, and this is the last roll to see what happens for the wall. Okay. All right. Oh, and that's a 62. There is absolutely no sentient apes that are able to get through the thing. And at that point, the entire wall is built. Fred brings every single ape and brings all of and brings Bo and Luke as well. And they bring to the wall, and he does a big ceremony, and he says, "We have Rod." And actually, at that point, they come over, and he unfurls this, and actually, all the apes look at each other, right? Because when he unfurls the thing, the flag that he uses is completely purple with a stripe of orange, and he like pulls this thing off the wall, and he rips this thing off. And it says Rod Hottenstein, and below that, wall, and it's labeled with your name. And at that point, you guys have completely built the wall, and what happens is you have made it safe. There is no more war.
Good luck getting trade into Queen Daphne's land.
Right.
Gotta go through our wall now.
Yeah, exactly. And then what? And then let me see. Oh yeah. Oh, and the only other thing that nobody ever said is at that point, 6 months continue forward. Okay, and you guys never really do solve the mystery of where Shaggy, Velma, and Scooby-Doo.
Speaking of mystery,
yes.
what did Did we ever find the van, the machine?
The mystery machine. That is a great question. So none of you ever. So that was the one thing that you could have done that nobody did, and that was go search for them. And I am going to. Well, I will tell you in a minute what happened.
I mean, we went ahead to the end of the end of the days, and then it was kind of left off. All of a sudden, months went by.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have had to think of something to do.
What else?
Oh no, actually, there was tons to do. Actually, once you guys started interacting, the biggest thing that you started doing was caring for the non-sentient apes, and also they did art, and there were all kinds of things, and also you really did form a brotherhood. And in a moment, I will tell you the mystery of what happened with Shaggy, Velma, and Scooby-Doo. But at that point, you have been the one thing that you have been doing for 6 months that all of the apes help with. And that the 69 Charger 01 is put to work on. You guys go ranging and look for the rift sweeps and do calculations. And Caesar and Maurice are constantly working the numbers, and the entire community is set to calculating the rift sweeps to give you guys the best chance. And finally, 6 months out, the 69 Camaro, the 69 Dodge Charger with a 01 on the side comes forward, and they've actually put like rail bars where you guys just jump on, and you and the Jurassic World Jeep are driven out, right, because the rift sweeps are coming in. And at that point, Blue Eyes, you hear Blue Eyes yell to his father. He says, "I'm going to go with them," and Caesar says, "You must go, son. Go with them."
Okay.
And at that point, you guys are going along.
You're responsible for Blue Eyes.
I know.
And Maurice runs, as you guys are tearing out, Maurice like throws the comic book to you.
Yes.
You catch it, and Fred says, "There have been nights where I wondered if I should have taken your advice and gone to talk to Daphne. We can't thank you guys enough. The wall truly was the solution." He says, "We hadn't thought of it, and I don't know why. But we're going to get you guys there." And at that point...
no need for a wish.
Comment, I still think there is time.
Good idea with the walls.
I think you should speak with her.
I will consider it again. Thank you. Now, at that point, he's, so he's in the
Charger.
The Charger. And actually, in the very, very back, you guys are on the front. They scream that Charger by, and you guys have to throw yourself back into the GammaWorld as the Jurassic World Jeep hurdles itself back in. The Jurassic World Jeep curves up onto one of the trash heaps, and you guys just sprawl over. The thing flips. Each one of you kind of takes about 10, probably about between 10 and 20 damage. And you look around, and you each see sprawled in the. You find cognition armor, you find a spy comp, you find a sentinel orbiter, and you find an unstable viroblade in the detritus. Nice. In the detritus that you have that is centered around you. And let me see what I got.
Can you see what that thing does?
In the detritus that is around you. And at that point, oh, sorry. All right, I've got one more thing I wanted to show you guys here.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent.
Can I see what you got?
Yeah, I don't want it. You can have it if you want.
Oh, was it not good? What did you get?
Oh, it's something stupid. It's like spy comp or something like that.
A spy comp? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of data devices that come up.
You want to see what we got?
Oh, and actually, I will tell you guys now. So, Shag Veldu. Oh my gosh, it's in the very last one. All right, so Shag Veldu. They were hiding in the groves, and along with Veronica and Betty, Veronica and Archie, all of them were hiding on the groves, and they would slip between both kingdoms, and they had never been excluded. And they talked with Bonnie every now and then, and they were able to go through. But those
now they're burned because there's a wall.
Yeah, those items. Those are the last Omega texts that you will be receiving in this game, and I have made a special thank you for each one of you for playing in the GammaWorld 7th edition game.
Oh God.
This is a very special collection of comic books. Each one of these comic books is a #1 comic book. Each one of them features a character that you encountered in this world. And then, so first, this is the Viking that you met at Stars Hollow Inn, and this one is for the ectoplasmic wield. and it has a custom hand-drawn monster from, let me see, actually hold up the books. Yeah. Oh yeah, so this is the custom hand-drawn monster that from Autumn Garibay. That is a sketch she did of this devil rat, and it has a special thank you note from me, and that is the Viking you encountered at Stars Hollow.
We never even got to explore what was going on in Maine. What the heck was that about?
Hold on. And then also, I will give to you next. Now I don't think a lot of you know this, but this, and actually, can I see the Legion of Doom? Yeah, that one. So just you're aware, David, this is for you, for your gelatinous simian, and this is that Blink dog, custom drawn by Autumn Garibay, and a custom thank you note from me. And this is Emily. I'm not sure you guys know who she is. She is a very unusual, deep-cut indie comic that is a very, very interesting character. That's for you. That is also a #1 comic book. And then also, for the Speedster Cognitive, this is Van Helsing from the Wildworks #1 comic book. And of course, you have the Lightning Hawk from the Legion of Gold expansion, hand drawn by Autumn. And of course, thank you very much for playing in the GammaWorld 7th edition Rift Sweep campaign, and finally for playing the amazing from the very cover. Yeah. So this is the chick with the tentacles on her head from the cover. And for your playing your Fungonoid Regenerator, this is Samurai Jack, who you also saw in the Stars Hollow Inn, and that is also a #1 comic book. I really want, and I really
that might be the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I really wanted to say thank you guys very, very much. Autumn worked very hard on those custom drawings, and I really want to thank you guys so much for playing in the game. It was super, super fun, and I will tell you, I really appreciate your patience too, because the first 2 sessions, I really felt I was getting my rhythm, and it was a very unusual game to run, but I really felt I got my rhythm, and it was one of the funnest games I've ever played. So I really appreciate everything you guys for playing.
Well, thank you, Scott. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And damn it, we never got to use that wish now.
That's true, the luck blade. That's exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And so
we make our own solutions.
Indeed. And that is GammaWorld 7th edition Rift Sweep. And with that,
until next time,
stay nerdy.